Captain Quark?
Was I?
It's Ratchet and Clank, Captain.
What's up, everybody? When I ask you to think back to the beginning of the PS2 era, what flagship franchises come to mind? The early 2000s was an incredible time to be a gamer, and likely a time of gaming that shaped the way many of us are today. Many games were among the fray, but there were some that took charge and rose above the rest. One such example I want to talk about today is Insomniac's flagship game for the PlayStation 2, Ratchet and Clank. Insomniac had a strong run with the original Spyro series back on the PS1, but it was time for them to up the ante a little bit and show what they could really do with the next generation of technology. With a little help from their friendly competitors over at Naughty Dog, they were able to bring together something extremely special, creating the first installment in the Ratchet & Clank franchise. Surprisingly, not much was changed or scrapped from the original concepts that Insomniac created. The main things were Ratchet going from an alien reptile with a tail to a more feline character for the agility that's displayed during the game. Clank going from being 3 different mini robots into just the one we know and love, and some less fun weapons and gadgets that got removed due to them not living up to the developers' expectations. As for the premise, this game follows our aforementioned anthropomorphic character Ratchet and his robot sidekick Clank on an adventure to stop the evil Chairman Drek of the Blarg. Drek's goal is to create a new planet for his species by wiping out inhabited planets to do so.
If you don't like it, you can take your whiny, sniveling, snot-nosed populations, form a line behind me, and kiss my... We're still on?
Clank has a brilliant idea to recruit the famous hero Captain Quark to assist them in stopping Drek, and this is truly where the story begins. Everything seems to be going well and according to plan when they finally find Captain Quark in his trailer of all places. He asks them to meet him in his private headquarters, where Ratchet and Clank, after nearly dying to an obstacle course to get there, eventually find out that Quark has betrayed them and has actually been working with Drek this entire time.
I'm not going to kill you.
You're not?
No, he is.
But why?
Quark leaves them to die without finishing them off himself, typical villain behavior, and they eventually do escape. Now, it is time to mention that Ratchet has not really been about this life the entire time.
That's it! I am out of here!
And it's kind of just been drug along due to his obligation to help Clank, because Clank helped him out earlier in the game. But Ratchet really doesn't want to do any of this or want to be here.
There are innocent lives being lost.
Yeah? Well, I'm done with this stupid hero stuff. I got my own agenda now.
However, with this betrayal by Quark, Ratchet has found new motivation to actually stop Drek and Quark.
Fine. Just shut up and start the ship.
So, Ratchet and Clank begin to systematically liberate various Blarg-conquered planets until they eventually happen upon Quark again, who tries to stop them from canceling Drek's plans. They get into a very heated space battle with Ratchet coming out on top by shooting Quark down where he crashes onto a planet. Now Ratchet, with his newfound motivation and hunger to help out the cause, has finally set his sights on Drek and his forces. Ratchet and Clank manage to track Drek and the Blarg to a planet called Veldin, where they begin to enact their plan to take over the world and build their own. After finding out Drek's nefarious plans to intentionally harm his own planet to make profit, a fight ensues, leading to Drek being shot at this newly created planet of his, and Ratchet using Drek's own device, the Deplanetizer, on him and the planet, thus destroying the entire planet and Drek as well. This results in a near-death experience for both Ratchet and Clank due to the materials from the other planet bombarding the planet they are currently on, but the duo managed to actually survive this, with Clank, of all, saving Ratchet with the sacrifice of his own arm to do so. Now, it's important to mention that throughout this entire game, Ratchet has seemed to only think of Clank as more of a robot and inferior to himself in some way, mostly because he's a mechanic.
Whatever. As soon as I find Quark, I'm selling you for scrap.
With this turn of events, things have changed and Ratchet finally sees Clank for who he really is, a friend. The two leave together, with Ratchet promising to rebuild Clank's arm. Also, we find out our main man Quark is actually alive this entire time and is actually promoting a personal hygiene tool on Ratchet and Clank's version of a television, and Ratchet and Clank don't like that very much. Now, as for the gameplay, this game focuses on being a third-person shooter/platformer with up to 36 different weapons and gadgets that can be bought or found for use throughout the entire game. The main weapon that Ratchet uses throughout the game is called the Omni Wrench 8000. It's the standard melee weapon that Ratchet uses to solve various puzzles, beat enemies, and just do anything with. While there are various other weapons that can be used throughout the game, the Omni Wrench is the primary, and it even has its own separate button for use. Now, one of the more fun and cathartic aspects of this game is the currency system. I know as one who has played these games, the concept of bolts being the preferred currency in this game is extremely refreshing, and the way they are gathered is extremely soothing as well. The currency is used for various things, such as buying ammo for weapons, buying the weapons themselves, upgrading those weapons, and even buying additional health for Ratchet and Clank. Luckily, the new mode you unlock once you beat the game, the challenge mode, allows you to keep your gathered currency to assist you in the harder difficulty. Now it's time to talk about Clank. Now, while a majority of this game is centered around using Ratchet to progress through the events of the story, there are some parts where the assistance of Clank is actually necessary to proceed. Usually Clank is utilized as a jetpack or another useful tool for Ratchet, but he does become a playable character in the game, and he does so by using little gadget bots that he has that help him perform actions to complete sections that will open up areas for Ratchet and himself to proceed. Now it's time to talk about some more fun stuff. The graphics for this time speak for themselves, as the only true comparison at this level would be the Jak and Daxter game, Precursor Legacy, which was stunning as well. The various worlds that you can play through in this game are incredible, and the galaxy feels like you actually live and move within it. Additionally, I would say the voice acting, audio, and comedic approach to the story were unmatched at this time, even to Jak and Daxter.
Rid of them.
Yes. No. Well, I had this plan, and I thought...
You thought...
Characters such as Captain Quark were standouts for myself, and those type of characters that if you mention that name randomly, I can vividly remember what he looks like and what he sounds like. The humor and the comedic gags throughout this game are great, and the voice acting is much needed. It's very good. The only true flaw that can be found within this game is the camera, but that can be said for a lot of games at the time, because for some reason cameras back then struggled to do their job. Overall, while I would not put this game above its direct competitor, Jak and Daxter, I would say that this game is fantastic and does many things better than Jak and Daxter. As I mentioned before, Jak and Daxter just has that special place in my heart, but this one will also never be forgotten for its time. Thanks everybody for watching, and hey, go play this game again, because it's still just that good. It's just as fun as you remember, and if you haven't played it yet, try it, because you're missing out. Some good childhood memories in there.
Thank you, and have a Quark-tastic day.
What'd you say?
Nothing.